good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whichever you are tuning in, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this presentation. This is the Mary Queen of Peace Youth Ministry 412 parent presentation for all of you who are unable to attend the parent hall meeting we had. So I'm going to start with our name. So if you hadn't heard, we have changed the name of the youth group to 412. The reason being, we really felt like we needed to start fresh as we're rebuilding this youth group. So let me tell you a little bit how we came to the decision of this name. So it's based off of the scripture verse 1 Timothy 4:12, which is, "Let no one despise your youth, but set an example for those who believe in speech, conduct, love, faith, and purity." So basically in this chapter, St. Paul is talking to Timothy and he's getting ready to send him out to evangelize, and he's telling him, Timothy, don't let anybody look down on you. You know, some people may look down on you because you're young, but set an example for them. Show them in your conduct, in your faith, in your speech. Show them what kind of man you are, and they will listen, and they will see that you are a man of God, and you will change their hearts. And this is exactly what we want for the youth of this parish. We want them to be confident in their speech and their faith, and we want them to know that they can be powerful instruments of God. And this is why we renamed our youth group to 412. So this is definitely going to be a rebuilding process, and to build a strong foundation, it takes time. So please be patient with us. We definitely are going to have different goals as we go along in this process each year. But I kind of want to talk about this upcoming year's goal so that you kind of know what we're doing. So our biggest thing that we're going to focus on is building relationships. So we're going to build relationships with the kids. I mean, that is of the utmost importance. This is what a youth group is about, is building relationships, forming trust so that we can be there to help them and guide them closer to Christ. In addition, we want to build relationships with you, the parents. This is absolutely vital. I need to get to know the family dynamics. I need to get to know the parents so that I can help just not the kids, but the entire family. If I don't know you, I don't know them. In addition, we're going to be going to local high schools and, talking with the appropriate people, whether it be your campus minister or your counselor. So we're going to be going to both private and public, and creating those relationships there so that they know if something was to happen that we are available and willing to minister in those times. So I'm going to move on to kind of the structure of the youth group. So we are having two different youth groups. We have the high school youth group, which is 412, and that's going to be 8th through 12th grade. And we are going to meet on a weekly basis. Now, we haven't decided which night of the week yet. We're going to decide that after we meet with the kids. And in addition to that, we're going to do this tri-monthly kind of schedule on Saturdays, where one Saturday of 1 month, we're going to do some kind of fun trip or fun activity on campus. The next Saturday of the next month, we'll do some kind of service project. And then the next Saturday after that, some kind of fundraiser, and then so on and so forth. So then we go back to fun trip, service project, fundraiser. We have an awesome, exciting thing to announce, that we are going to be doing quarterly worship events. So let me kind of describe that a little bit. Basically, this is a multi-parish event where kids can come and worship our Lord. We're going to have a professional worship band come in, and it's going to be a night filled with talks and praise and worship. Hopefully we can have some confession, but it's all centered around the Eucharist and adoration. So that's something that I'm super excited. We used to have that here on the North Shore called Exalt Fest, and we're going to be bringing that back. Next, we're moving on to the 412 youth. Now, 412 youth is our middle school youth group, and that's grades 5 through 7. And we're going to distinguish them on the calendar and in general by adding that youth. So anytime you see 412, it's for the high school. Anytime you see 412 youth, it's for the middle school. So our plan with the middle school is to have monthly meetings on Thursdays. This was the only day available for the calendar that would work for the space that we need, because we're probably going to need a bigger space for the younger kids. And so we'll most likely be in that auditorium and on, most days when we're doing big activities. So we're going to have that monthly meeting jam-packed with awesome events. It's probably going to be somewhat, of some praise and worship. Then it has some activity, and then we're going to kind of sit down and talk about how that activity has some spiritual aspect or function to it, and really kind of get deeper with the kids in that aspect. In addition, we're going to have probably 3 to 4 fun events for them, whether they be on campus or off campus. And I definitely would love to get some more feedback from the actual kids when we start youth group about that. And then maybe from you as well about what times would be good to actually do those fun nights, whether that be near holidays or not. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is communication. I think one of the biggest things that I've been hearing around campus and just in general for youth groups is a lack of communication. So that's one of the biggest things that youth groups fail on, is a lack of communication. So I'm going to go through the different ways and types of communication that we're going to use, and that way you know exactly how and when and where and all of that good stuff. So first of all, we're going to talk about the website. And in order to do that, I'm actually going to bring you to the website. So here is maryqueenofpeace.org. This is our portion of the website. Real quickly, I'm going to go to the home page so that you can see this is our home page for Mary Queen of Peace. So we're going to click on 412 right here, and that's going to bring us to that page. I just wanted you to see how to get to it. And if for some reason you're on a different page, you can go to the youth tab and then 412. So here is, up here on this top left-hand corner, 412 youth calendar. 412 calendar. And this is going to be your central calendar for the youth group. So basically, for instance, like we had this parent town meeting, if I click on that, it shows you when, where, and then a description if I've put one. You can click on for more details. You can add it to your calendar. So that's just kind of a quick one through of that. But just know that this calendar is going to be your main calendar. And we will eventually have a day of the week that I tell you that, say it be Monday, I'm going to make my updates on all my platforms, on all my communication on Monday, so that every Monday you're going to have a fresh start and you're going to have the updated calendar. Right now, I'm not going to tell you that, because I think we need to get a little bit more into the youth group and know the schedule before I know what day would be appropriate for that. But I will let you know when we have decided that. So over here we have another thing called subscribe to our mailing list. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe to that mailing list, I'm going to try to do most likely a monthly mail out or email out, basically just saying this is what we have going on for the youth group. Next is our documents tab. So I'm not going to go over all of this right now, because I will later in the presentation, but this is where you're going to find your documents. To start the youth group, here's all these forms that you'll need. In addition, we have the parent volunteer form. And then, for instance, if we had a field trip or something, this is where your events form would be. For instance, March for Life, which I believe Father Ian will be leading this year. Here's the form for that. That's what we have for the website. So that's one form of communication, and I've kind of gone through each of those and why, where to go and how to use it. So the next thing is social media. And I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to my husband, because he is our social media guru. All the cool videos that you've been seeing, he's the one that edits those for me, and that's kind of his domain. So I'm going to go ahead and hand that over to him.
Hey guys, it's William here. I'm here to talk about some of the social media stuff that we have going on. As you can see, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, your kid's favorite, Twitter, Snapchat, as well as YouTube. You can find us at all of these social media platforms at MQP412. So let's check out our Facebook page real quick. On our Facebook page, we're going to be making post after post after post. Take a look at this one. Here's a picture of the sign that's right outside of church. Look at our awesome new signs for the youth group. We've reached 435 people with just this one post. We'll also be making some posts about some other things, some articles that we see, and some other videos. Look, here's a time-lapse video from when we were trying to take down all of these pallets for the new youth pallet wall. As we scroll down a little bit further, you can see we have photos posted, as well as some other videos on the Immaculate Conception. Let's take a look at our YouTube page real quick. On our YouTube page, we're going to be making daily posts after the first of the year when youth group really starts. But you can see here, we've got episode 1 of our youth room renovation. And you can see episode 2 here. Episode 3 is going to follow our new youth director. Let's take a look at that video real quick. We have tons of fun videos that we're going to be posting for the kids. And we're trying to bring it into the 21st century. So as you can see with some of the graphics that we're doing in our videos, that's specific for our youth group, for 412. So I'd like to thank you for your time, and I'm going to pass it back over to Elise to finish up.
Okay, so to wrap up social media, I just want to say that social media is extremely important in an evangelization tool. I mean, literally, I think 50%, if not more, of our ministry is based off of social media. So one of the things that I want to stress is please carefully consider signing the media release form that is in the packet for the youth group, because basically this is kind of what has happened in the past, is that the one kid who doesn't have that signed and it doesn't have that release, we have to pull that kid from whatever event we're filming or doing, and they have to kind of sit to the side. And that just makes me so sad. But unfortunately, or I should say fortunately, social media is such a great tool for the kids. I mean, we can reach them in ways that we cannot even, within the church. And so this is why it's so important to really consider signing that media release form so that we can use this as an evangelization tool, not only for the kids, but for the parish and for the community. So please consider that and just pray about it. And if you feel like you need to come and talk to me and kind of know a little bit more about what we're going to be doing with the kids and social media, feel free to contact me. I'd love to talk to you. So the next thing is the My Parish app, and we are going to go through step by step why we're using the My Parish app and how to use the My Parish app. So go ahead and go to your app store or whatever it's called for your phone. Go to search, and then you're going to type in My Parish. Okay, so make sure to take a note of this one on the actual screen here. The logo looks like this. So with the blue background, the cross, and the swoosh, there are other My Parish apps out there, so you want to make sure that you have the right one. And so once you do that, once you find the My Parish app, you're going to go ahead and download it, buy it, add it, whatever it is that your phone says. And we're going to wait for that to download. And then go ahead and click open. Okay, so anytime one of these screens pops up, you're going to say allow, because it's going to allow us to get notifications to you, which is exactly what we want. So make sure to always allow. Next, you're going to go to skip intro. You can do the intro at another time, see what else is available for the parish app. And now what we have to do is actually set Mary Queen of Peace as your parish. So we're going to go to the search bar, and here we go again, another one. We're going to say allow, and it's going to search for parishes near you. Now Mary Queen of Peace for us popped up real quick. So Mary Queen of Peace Catholic Church, 2.1 miles away, 1501 West Causeway Approach. That's what we're going to click on. And if it wasn't the first thing that came up for you, go ahead and search that and find it. Okay, so now you see in this bar, there is now Mary Queen of Peace Catholic Church set, and that's what we want. So we're going to go ahead and get started by clicking Get Started. Okay, just go ahead and click OK. Sometimes there's these notifications when you first do it. What it's telling you is if you swipe up, it'll get rid of these notifications that are on there, and more instructions here, so click OK. Okay, so now what we need to do is create an account. Before we can do anything with our groups, we got to do that. So go to that top left corner where you see the 3 horizontal lines, and it's going to bring you to this screen. Go ahead and click Sign In. And most of you probably haven't created an account, so go to Create Account. and we're going to fill in this information. So, of course, your name, email address, password, and birthday. And then what you're going to do is sign in. Okay, once you are signed in, then we can go ahead and go to groups. So what you want to do is look at that top row, and all the way to the right, there's an icon called groups, and you're going to click on that icon. Go ahead and click on find a group. And then this will go ahead and show you all of the groups available. So for my parents, since this is who's watching, FourTwelve Parents is for all of the high school. That's 8th grade through 12th, and that's for parents only. And you're going to go ahead and click join for that one. And then request sent. So basically that's going to go to me. You're going to click OK, and then you're going to wait for me to approve it when I get back to my desk. And once that's approved, you see pending is up there. It won't say pending anymore, and then you'll be able to get notifications. So as you see below, there's other groups as well. So the two that you're concerned about, like I said, is the FourTwelve Parents for the high school, and then the FourTwelve Youth Parents, which is for the middle school. So those are the only two that parents should be joining. So same thing, if you're a middle school parent, you can click join, it will go to pending, and then you'll wait for my approval. If you'd like to go back to the home screen after that, just click on at the top right hand corner that square, and it will bring you back here. So we've already joined one group, but don't forget you can join multiple groups. So for instance, if you have a child in grades 5 through 7, you can go ahead and join the FourTwelve Youth Parents. You've already joined, or we've already joined at this point, the FourTwelve Parents, and that is for the high school. So if you have kids in both, feel free to join both. There's no limitation. So, and we absolutely need you to join both if you have kids in each of those. Okay, so that wraps up the tutorial for my parish. And what a great tool that is, and I'm super excited. So definitely go ahead, not only, like I said, for the youth group, for the parish as well. You can find mass times, bulletin, and confession times, and all of that good stuff. So make sure to use that not only for the youth group, but for the parish as well. Okay, so parent involvement. We need you, we want you, and there's always a place for you. I'm going to kind of go through the volunteer opportunities for this youth group, but let me just say this, that one of the biggest things I've seen, and my husband and I have seen throughout the years, as a downfall and to a youth group and a degrading of the youth group is when parents are not involved and when there's not a good structured volunteer committee system. And so this is super important that we have you. I mean, we cannot do this without you. Basically, if we don't have volunteers and we don't have committees set up, then that falls on all of the core team's shoulders, on my shoulders, and then therefore I can't minister your kids the way that they need to be ministered to. So by having parent volunteers, that allows me to be able to be more accessible to your children, which is what we need. So let me go over, okay, so for FourTwelve Youth, you'll see we have one parent committee, and this is being the fact that we are not doing as much or as much of on a regular basis, I should say, with the middle school. So we don't necessarily need as many committees. So we're going to do that one parent committee, and hopefully, you know, we'll get a schedule of when we're going to meet, and then we can kind of go through what we actually need for that. So for FourTwelve Youth, we're going to have one parent committee that will meet, and basically they will help facilitate planning and everything for the youth, the middle school youth group. Being that we're not having weekly meetings and all the events that we're doing with the older kids, we don't really need the individual committees. For the FourTwelve high school group, we're going to need multiple parent committees. There's a lot that's going on, and we just absolutely need that structure in place. So chaperones, now everybody wants to be a chaperone, so you please, if you're going to sign up for a volunteer, check multiple things, and that will be in your parent packet as well as a volunteer form. But we're going to have to find some way to rotate chaperones so that the parents can be with the kids. Okay, so chaperones, I think everybody kind of knows what a chaperone is. You know, if we're going outside of the school and we need people to kind of watch, be security, stay up all night, those kinds of things, that's what a chaperone is for. Decorating and ambiance. So decorating and ambiance committee is probably going to be one of my favorite committees for the fact that that's my artsy side. But I do want to say this, that we are going to have a very specific vision for the kids, because we have done the research. We know what they want and we know what they like. So please do not be offended, if we say, listen, florals are really not what's in right now. It's, lamps, random lamps and candles. We're going for that very dramatic. The Protestant churches know how to do it. They have a lot of drama to any of the things that they do, and that's what those kids are looking for. So we're going to work together to create an ambiance for them in these various situations that will be what they like. Event. So, like the worship event that we were talking about, that quarterly worship event, basically we would need to help people, have people in this committee help facilitate that event, breaking up, tearing down. That'll be the same for the decorating, breaking up, tearing down, and kind of just the logistics of the event. Food and beverage. I think this is kind of self-explanatory, but basically for the nights themselves, we would like to have parents who volunteer to kind of, each take turns to provide food for the night. So if that means just even pizza, the kids love pizza and you want to order pizza, that's fine. If that's soup, whatever it is, that we always have food at the youth group. In addition, we're planning on having a coffee house at that worship event. So they would be in charge of, either going to somebody like Chick-fil-A and asking for a donation, or, bake sale or whatever we decide when we meet. So that would be your food and beverage, as well as if we're having a retreat, we need a cook staff. Of course, once we meet in these committees, we'll talk about more details. Fundraising. Fundraising is going to help you. I know that you guys have fundraising opportunities coming at you from all sides. So I know that parents especially are going to be great at ideas for fundraising. And so I really need a committee that helps to come up with the ideas, not only come up with ideas, but make them happen. So, and this is something that the kids will definitely be involved in the day of, but the behind the scenes is really where we'll need help. Intercessory prayer. I am just super excited about this in general. When I was younger, there was a youth group that I used to drive an hour to because they were just an amazing youth group. And one of the reasons I believe they were an amazing youth group is because they had a bunch of church ladies, and let me tell you how much I love my church ladies. They are just amazing. I grew up with church ladies. My mom and I used to go to daily mass, and they were some of my favorite friends. But they are prayer warriors, and so we would love to get together an intercessory prayer team so that while we are doing the youth nights, there is a group of men and women, in the church praying and interceding for these kids. And let me tell you, I have seen mountains moved, and that prayer support is so vital and so necessary. The evil one likes to take things that are good and make them bad, and we don't want that. So we need those prayer warriors to fight against that and to intercede for these kids and all that they're dealing with on a daily basis. So if that's something that you feel called to, definitely let me know. Okay, so service projects. Service projects is basically the same as fundraising. It's a matter of coming up with ideas for service projects. I really hope to reach out into our parish, but also the community as well, and provide opportunities for these teens, especially the ones who have come up in, wealthier homes or just, they need that service. They need to know what other people are dealing with and seeing, suffering and also, corporal works of mercy in action. I think that's vital to the development of anyone of that age. And even for us, my goodness, we still need to be there. So So if you are interested, please sign up. There is various ways. Like I said, there will always be a place for you. There's always a way for you to get involved. We will find a way for you. And so basically, parents, we need you. You are the structure and the backbone of the youth group. The nights themselves, we have our core team for, and the reason being is that we want to create a space where can come and they can ask questions that that they might not necessarily open up and talk to their parents about. So please, we will have the nights covered, but we will always invite you in the beginning or at the end. And also, hopefully, with the media release, we will be kind of using that, and you can kind of see what's going well on as well through social media. Okay, so please be aware, though, if you are going to volunteer, you must complete the safe environment training to work with the youth in any capacity. This is absolutely vital, necessary, and you cannot work with the youth without it. It has to be renewed every 3 years. So if you're like, oh, I did that already, it's expired if you haven't done it within 3 years. So if you need to know how to do that, if you go to our website, there's a safe environment tab, and you can go right to that safe environment tab, and it tells you what you need to do, and it also gives you all of the opportunities within our area to go get safe environment trained. And for the protection of our youth, it's absolutely vital, necessary, and important. So that will probably be one of the first things I make sure that is done before you can volunteer. Okay, so what is required? What is required to join this youth group? Okay, we're going to talk about this. So, one, you got to fill out all the appropriate forms. There's a registration form, a code of conduct, medical consent form, liability waiver, and media release that we talked about before. I know this is a lot of paperwork. I apologize. But in order to protect the parish, the youth, and the archdiocese, these are necessary and have to be filled out for each student. So you can't just put all of your kids on one. You must fill it out. And I know that can be a pain, but please know that we have the best of intentions in mind and in heart when having you fill out all these forms and protecting your kids. So in addition to that, there is a t-shirt fee. It is $15 for the 412 youth. And right now, we have it estimated at $20 for the 412 high school group. But based off of the meeting, if you've seen the signs in the church, we have a colored logo. And with that, it might mean if they like that colored logo and want it on their t-shirts, we may have to up it to $25. So if for some reason you cannot afford a t-shirt, please just email me. We will be as discreet as possible, and just let me know that. We don't ever want to, exclude anybody. Just something to talk about. This is something that Father addressed at the meeting, was the code of conduct. So the code of conduct, we have you sign, and we also have your child sign. And just as anywhere else, we expect that your child comes to the youth group in full knowledge of what is expected of them. Just like anywhere else at school or anywhere else, we expect that they, live as the Catholic Church would ask them to live, that they come in with respect and for the adults, for the space, and they just act appropriately. So, please read that over with your child. If you need to speak more directly about that with Father John, he'd be happy to talk to you about it. But basically, like anything else, we expect, a certain standard of behavior when coming to the youth group. And, if we have consistent problems, we will have to kind of give you a call and talk about that. So I would go over that in detail with your child and make sure that they are aware of what is expected of them as part of being of the youth group. So, okay, so that is the end of our presentation. Feel free to go to the live Q&A that we actually had from the actual presentation on Tuesday, December 6th. It is on our Facebook page, and if you haven't liked us on social media, now is the time. MQP 412, like I said, social media will be very, very important, as my husband has gone through with you. So please like, subscribe, and you will know what's going on with the youth group at all times if you are subscribed and liked to all those platforms. So Have a fantastic evening. I encourage you, like I said, to go to Facebook and listen to the question and answer. We had some great questions. And then feel free to contact me, Elise Bennett, the youth director. You can either actually call me on the phone or email me. I'm looking to get to know each and every one of you as well as your children. And we are just so excited, my husband and I, to be at this parish and to minister to this parish family. And we really truly hope that with this youth group, it will be a total wide parish ministry and that this parish will just grow and flourish with this ministry. So thank you so much, and just please keep us in your prayers as we begin to rebuild this youth group, and pray for us, pray for the core team members, pray for the kids, and have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.